critical parts of it. To explain what Minority Report is, the plot, of course, is that follows a man known as John Anderton, or Anderson, depending on the scene you're watching. Anderton is a is the police chief of the pre-crime division. What this is that they use three precogs, and they use them to help the division predict future murders, preventing those murders from taking place. These this system has been a part of John's life for a while, as he has fully believed what he is doing is the right thing, as it has stopped murder for the past 6 years. Now, but all of that comes to a head when John sees a vision of himself committing a murder, something he has always stopped working in this division. Now he's seeing himself do something he would never have done. This leads him to believe he's being set up, which leads him on a path of trying to clear his name and being on the run from the rest of the division, as they are now chasing after him, as they believe he's going to kill someone. And now that I've explained the plot to you, I should explain the people behind it. The first and very notable part of it is its director, Steven Spielberg, a name that I'm almost certain that I do not have to explain anymore, because even if you've never seen a Spielberg film, you definitely know who Spielberg is. The more lesser known parts are the people who worked on some very important parts of this film, such as its cinematography, the music, and its editing. The cinematography was done by a man named Janusz Kaminski. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Has been a part of a lot of films working on its cinematography, including this one. Now, the music was composed by a man named John Williams, someone who, similar to Kaminski with the cinematography, has composed a lot of music for a lot of very popular films. Finally, we have editing being done by Michael Kahn. Same as the first two, he explained all those parts. It's best that we get into the actual aesthetic part of this. First and foremost, lighting. The first thing I noticed was backlight. Where in this scene, these two people are a husband and wife. There's Howard, and then there's Sarah, his wife. Next. Now, much earlier in the film, actually not much earlier, just a bit earlier in the film, we see Howard in a vision kill his wife and another man before realizing it's a vision, or really realizing what this story is going to. We see this scene, however, takes place when Howard sees the affair partner, who is the man that gets murdered in the vision, outside, and feels like he looks familiar somehow. During the scene, it uses a lot of backlight coming from the sun outside, as it's a very bright and sunny day, making it feel more practical, while also creating this bit of ominence to the scene. As you know, he's going to hurt her and that man, but soon you start to learn the motive for why. This entire scene is covered in white, allowing you to see this kind of interesting sight before you even know what exactly is happening in the film. You just see this and it kind of catches your eye in a way. The next thing to talk about is around 15 minutes and 30 seconds in with color intensity, specifically blue color. The reason I found this significant is because a lot of it, a lot of the background for this film is this very whitish color, kind of making it feel a bit, futuristic-ish. It's got this whitish background to do it for most of the scenes. But using that background so much actually makes this stuff like this more noticeable because it Mm. because it allows you to actually kind of look at this and really just disconnect from the standard use of the background throughout the movie. This man here is Lamar, who will also play a purpose story, but again, we'll get to that. This is taking place during a propaganda piece being shown in favor of the Minority Report in the pre-crime division. And as this piece is being used 1 week before people are about to vote on whether or not pre-crime should be nationally implemented or be done with. The, the triadic color comes in with this kind of light yellowish tone putting on Lamar's face, as well as the bluish sides here with the other parts of this piece, which similarly to this one brings a lot of tension to the audience since it's so different from things we see for the rest of the movie, really. The next thing to talk about is framing and composition. This scene is the time where Howard realizes that his wife is having an affair. As you can see, they get a bit passionate, and the door shuts, and we rack focus to Howard. And just 10 minutes and 48 seconds into the movie, we already know why he's doing it and what he's about to do, mainly thanks to what we've seen in the vision. The next thing to talk about is off-screen space. This is used in the scene where, spoiler, Lamar is a villain. He killed Agatha, the main precog's mother, because her mom was about to take Agatha back, and so when John realizes the truth and calls Lamar to expose, in order to expose everything he knows what really happened. The next thing to talk about is motion vectors, taking place 44 minutes and 21 seconds into this movie. As you can see, John is climbing up to the car, having this scene having take place after he's seen the vision and is now escaping before people catch up to him. We see some motion vectors as those cars move down this little ramp type of. The next thing to talk about, which is the last thing for framing composition, takes place around 46 minutes and 48 seconds into the film, which is dynamic balance. Dynamic balance takes apart when after John escapes and is on the run, he's now trying to prove his name while also staying hidden from the rest of the division. So he kind of hides in this crowd, as you can see here, people walking behind him as he has to keep himself far away from being, caught by anyone. Allows you to start to think that you need to pay attention to Agatha, as she may be an important part of the character, important part in the story, which, spoiler, she is. The last thing for perspective, time, and motion takes place around 42 minutes and 37 seconds in, with an over-the-shoulder shot. This is the scene where after sees the vision, he's in the elevator when Whitmer shows up, and they get into a bit of a scuffle before the alarm is sounded and John has to leave. You can definitely feel the tension between both of them as neither of them trusts the other. But John can't do anything about his distrust because he's got to escape the building before he gets arrested for a crime he knows he would not commit. Moving on now to sound, the first thing I noticed was 21 minutes and 15 seconds in, a clear and simple sound effect. As you can hear, those cars are moving. You can hear the sound of it with the non-diegetic sound. As you can see, the music is being played when John starts to realize problems with this, with the whole pre-crime system, as he sees himself commit a murder. The music shows his internal feeling, allowing us to perfectly feel the same fear he's having, seeing himself commit an atrocious crime like this. The next thing to talk about is realism, sound effects. This scene, 42 minutes and 30 seconds in, is what really takes place. This genuinely sounds like how an alarm would probably sound. So hearing it makes you feel a bit of anxiety as you're hoping John can get out of there as fast as possible. But the final thing for sound is subordinate sound effects. Once again, as you saw, there was a bit. Once again, as you saw, there was a. We see the huff. Let's see the cars again. Yeah. Now taking place after John has gotten out. He was playing into this tense music as we transition to John's next move while the sound of the cars and the music perfectly combined together. You're not really sure what's about to happen or what this plays into the story. The next thing to talk about is screen direction, taking place 2 minutes and 28 seconds into the movie. This scene uses a significant amount of shot reverse shots. As we see as they're talking, we have a shot here of John reading his rights, cutting to the reaction from the man. But then as he's explaining, we start to get shots of John's reactions to what the man is saying. Perfectly showing us that's what John feels by hearing this thing that he never would have imagined. The fact that he's set up by someone to look like a murderer, by having him actually kill the man, by making him think that we're cutting to an image of what Lamar had done. This scene not only shows us Lamar's fear of being exposed, but it also fully reveals to us the monster that Lamar is, a man who is so willing to keep his reputation of being in charge of a division that stopped murder, that he's willing to actually commit a murder to keep the the way that it's always been. And I can maybe start. Hopefully, I have enough for this to get a good grade on it. Eh, and hopefully, this is good enough for anyone peer reviewing me. We'll have a fun time watching. So, so I'd like to say bye.